One, go.
Hi, and welcome to CIT 370 Information Security Group 4, Lesson 4 presentation by David Banks, David Stevenson, and Imara Leon. I'm Dave Stevenson. To begin, we're going to review some of the comparisons of firewalls that we've researched. Open source firewalls. One of them is called Endian, and Endian offers a range of products. They offer some hardware appliances. Their low end is a Mini. It's ARM-based architecture. It's for small businesses, 5 to 25 users, but they do have larger hardware appliances as well. They also offer a software solution if you want to use your own hardware. They have a free community version and a paid commercial version. They have several advanced features such as intrusion prevention detection, antivirus, anti-spam, and VPN. IPCOP. It's a free download to install on your own hardware. The gateway does packet filtering, proxy, traffic shaping, VPN and secure remote access, user authentication, name services, time server. Untangle has user authentication, including Active Directory, VPN, captive portal, web filtering, antivirus and anti-spam, intrusion prevention, ad blocker, reporting. Another one that there were five of them listed in this particular article that we looked at. You can also see firewall comparisons on Wikipedia, and if you just do a Google search on firewall compare, you'll find several articles and reviews. But that's the basis of our presentation, and now I'm going to turn it over to David Banks for the next part.
All right, thanks, Dave. As Dave said, I'm Dave Banks. The open source firewall we chose was the Untangle firewall. I've used it before at previous jobs and currently testing it for my current job. The reason I prefer Untangle over some of the other ones is most especially the first feature, the user authentication that Dave mentioned, because it's very important to a lot of companies to keep track of employees' internet usage, and the easiest way to do that is with some kind of LDAP integration. And most small businesses or businesses use the Active Directory faceplate that Microsoft puts out using LDAP in the back end. Some legacy companies still use Novell, but generally speaking, Active Directory is the flagship user authentication for most companies. So that's the one big feature with Untangle that I really like. It does support less users in its base end than some of the other ones. However, it's more of a quality product. So we're going to kind of walk through a couple of these features right here. As you can see, the user interface is pretty easy to use. There's not much to it, and it's pretty intuitive. There's quite a few things that most business owners would be interested in, like a web filter, virus blocker, spam protector, phish blocking, web caching, bandwidth control, application control, captive portal, ad blocker, basic firewall functions, and just about anything that you can think of as far as a firewall goes, this little guy has in it. So you can bring your own hardware, which most people do, or they do have appliances for sale that are pretty competitively priced. But overall, we're going to go over just a few of these applications. So first, we're going to go over the firewall. Their firewall snap-in that they have is just a very basic port-to-port firewall. It's not application-based like some of the next-generation firewalls are by other companies, but it does have other snap-ins for application use as well. So this is just your basic open up this port to allow traffic to come through, and as you can see, there's a few default rules there. So the next thing we're going to go into, which I think is probably one of the most important things that we talked about that most people would find necessary, is a web filter. So as you can see, they have category-based web filtering, and you can also add in some custom ones if you want, or a black and white list, as some people call it. You can see the pre-done categories they have. There's pornography, obviously, proxy sites is a big one. The social networking, sports, dating, gambling, hacking, all of your basic categories that you may or may not want people on. And the other cool thing about this is you can either block those categories or you can flag it, and the flag will throw it into the reporting, which works pretty well for the Untangle. So after that, we've got Virus Blocker, which is exactly what it sounds like. It blocks known viruses. Just like with any other virus scanning software or hardware appliance, you will need to update the definitions regularly. I believe they do have an auto setting, but I usually like doing those myself at least once a week, even if I have auto set on, just so I can double make sure that I have that done. Also helps to block spam. It works very well for that. Application control works very well. Intrusion prevention is another big one. I've used this at a lot of companies. There's quite a bit you can do with this as far as intrusion prevention goes. As you can see right here, it'll keep track of who's doing what. There's not a whole lot going on this one because it's a test VM that I have set up, so there's not actually traffic running through it yet. But you kind of get the idea of what's behind it. So there's some peer-to-peer stuff and things like that. They also have a geo-filtering feature where you can actually filter out different countries not getting onto your network or getting through your firewall. Like if you want to block just everything coming from China, you can block that, or any other country that you could think of. Another really good feature, which Untangle does, and I didn't see that on any of the other firewalls that we researched, was web caching. Web caching is really handy for speed, for internet speed, because essentially what it does is it hosts its own cache of websites. So you can set it up one of two ways. It can basically just do, it can keep track of how many hits each page gets, and then if it goes above a certain number, it'll just start caching it. Or you can just add in your own caching. So, like for instance, if you know a lot of people go to Google, then you could just type in google.com, https, www.google.com, all the different versions of Google you can think of, and have that cached so that when people get it, it loads faster. And then it will forward it on from there to go and verify that you still have connectivity and such. Another really good feature is the WAN failover, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can set it up so if you have two ISPs coming in, it can fail over to one or the other, or it can also do load balancing, or both. You can do load balancing and then it fails over if one or the other of those WAN links fail. The last thing I want to talk about is, or the second to last thing I want to talk about is Captive Portal. Not a lot of people take advantage of this, and it's not a feature that's available in a lot of other free open source firewalls like this. If you've ever been to a hotel or to any kind of business that has guest Wi-Fi, generally when you get onto there, you'll have to agree to some kind of usage agreement, compliance agreement. That's what the Captive Portal is. So I mean, if you're a smaller to mid-sized business and you want to, just maybe impress your clients or customers a little bit more, you can have that on there so it seems a little bit more official, and it also gives you legal ground if anything were to happen on your network that users did they weren't supposed to. And so the last thing I want to do is or talk about is VPN, and the VPN for Untangle is incredibly easy to set up. It's based on OpenVPN, which is also another piece of open source software, and essentially all you do is email them a link with an executable in it. They run the executable, and it sets up all of the background information for them. And all they have to do is right-click on the computer that appears down in the lower right-hand corner and connect, and it connects through a VPN tunnel through the Untangle. So again, the one drawback to the Untangle is that the baseline only can run between 1 and 10 users. However, that is mostly dependent on the hardware. So their baseline hardware recommendations are for 1 to 10 users, but they go all the way up into corporate environments. So I hope you enjoyed our presentation today. Again, we're Group 4. I'm Dave Banks, and that is
Dave Stevenson.
And we are signing off. Thank you.